You'll notice that when I brought in my model, I actually brought in all of the components, and if I want to see all those again, I could just hold down Shift and tap again on that tool that I just opened. It's not necessary for me to have 4 brackets and then duplicating it and moving it over or mirroring it to the opposite side. But I went ahead and I brought all 4 in just so I have placement. So for now I'm just going to focus on creating this little metallic part, and I don't really need everything open, so I'm going to hide everything for now. I'm going to turn off my smooth on the first divide and then divide up after that. So level 5 is probably a good starting point. And I'm looking at my reference, and my reference is basically showing me that what I'm looking for here is this nice kind of decorative border. All right, so what I want is to come in a bit closer. Once again, clay tubes. I'm going to turn off all of my symmetry at this moment, and I'm just going to hit it just very lightly initially to get that sculpt started. Keep in mind what we're looking for here is to just rough in the mesh a little bit, give it some texture. We definitely want the backside to have texture also. But for the most part, this bracket, our primary concern is going to be on the top side. Okay. Now I can tell by looking at this pattern that's occurring within my model. If I create a circle here, a rivet, I'm going to get these jaggedy edges, and that may not be desirable. So we have to be very careful at this point with the detail we add. What I'm going to do before I add any rivet detail, I'm going to increase my division level. So now what I want to do is I'll create my rivet, and I'll do that with the square alpha turned on because I'm going to clean that up a little bit later. And you'll notice I have a little bit of a somewhat knob that's occurring here. So I'm just going to hold down the Alt button and just remove that. And I want to add a bit of a decoration in here. So maybe some type of scroll work happening, and perhaps I could do a scroll right around it. That might be fun. So I'll just experiment, starting with a semicircle. And so the same thing here. So we want to create a semicircle and then a straightaway. And then I think what I'll do is I'll add just a little bit more here, and you'll see when I finalize this detail how all that will materialize. So we're good there. And the same. And of course I could have did this with my symmetry turned on, but you know, I don't like to be too perfect. I want my work to have a nice hand feel and uniqueness, originality to it. So I think we're good there. I do want my bracket to not be perfectly straight. I do want this to have some form of ridges going on here. And I'm currently doing this in a circle pattern, but I'm actually going to be taking that out in a moment. So the whole idea is to just make this all become one unique shape like this. All right, so I'll be ready to define this and straighten it out a little bit later on. Before we do the lock mechanism, how about we jump on to the actual compass points and begin work on those.